How's it going, race fans? Welcome to the first episode of Seekonk Speedway's pre-race previews, sponsored by Viper Graphics. I'm your host, Giuliana Vanasse. This weekend, it all begins. The battles heat up, redemption stories unfold, and we get ready to drop the green flag at Seekonk Speedway. Before the green flag flies on a new season at Seekonk Speedway, there's one man behind the scenes making sure every race is run the way it should. A true staple of the action track of the East and proud member of the Seekonk Speedway Wall of Fame, race director Lenny Ellis has seen it all, from photo finishes to championship controversies. I caught up with Lenny for a preseason conversation to talk racing, expectations, and what drivers and fans can expect in 2026. Welcome back, race fans. It's Giuliana Vanasse, joined by race director Lenny here behind the scenes during the test and tune. Lenny, let's start off. How was your off season?
Busy, very busy. Tommy got married. I got a knee replacement. We got a lot of things done. It's a very busy summer. Winter.
You're different from a lot of other employees here at Seekonk Speedway. You actually used to race here back in the day. What does this mean to you to be able to be a race director now at the same track that you used to race at?
To me, it's all about giving back to the sport. I love not only racing, but I love Seekonk Speedway. And of course, I like to do it my way because I'm an older guy. I don't like some of the younger, not a bad thing about the younger kids, but I mean, I want them to race clean and go on and to be very successful. We have a great rate over here. People go from here to, I always kind of say Ruggiero, but it's not just Ruggiero. There's a lot of kids that have gone over and raced other places and very successful.
So tell the fans, what goes into actually making a call on the track?
Well, the biggest thing of it is for me is, and I tell my people, when I make that call, I want to be 100% right. Now, whether I'm 100% right or not, I got to live with that.
Yes.
But when I make that call, I'm no different than a football official or a basketball. You make the thing. Sometimes they show the replays, and you say, "Oh, that guy made a bad call." Well, you know what? Sometimes they've had to say that to me because I've sat there, and when I saw that call, I was 100% right that I made the right call. But I've had to apologize to people because I have made bad calls. And but I will tell you this: I take great pride in the fact that more of my calls are right than are wrong by a lot.
So how exactly do you define making a good call, and what does that process like? How do you go about making a good call and knowing that you're right every time?
Well, first of all, I think you have to go by what you believe in. If you believe the car is, if you believe that the car is in there when he's at the back bumper and he turns the guy, that's not what I believe. I believe you have to be up to the tire and stay there, and then if you touch, it's one thing. If a guy goes in there, it's a lot about angles. If you don't have the angle, like say for example, you're going into the turn and you got an angle like this, and a guy comes in straight, he doesn't have the angle. When he's passing, he should be like this. He should. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's it's something that you do, and it's hey, nobody goes out there to wreck each other. But it's costly. It's not like when I started racing. You could build a car for $3,000. Now, I mean, I'm sure your dad would like to tell you how much it costs to build that one. But, it's just you have to sit there. Racing, it's an accident. It's an accident. Ridiculousness, foolishness, whatever you want to call it. It's something that can use your head. You know what I mean? You're not a professional. And even if you're going to be a professional down the road, you still need to get good driving tips,
Yep. I feel like more than anyone at Seekonk Speedway, you've had a lot of harsh calls against you personally. How do you go against the hate or sometimes maybe talking back?
Well, I mean, everybody has an opinion, right? I was always pretty good with myself. I'd spot, kind of say something or whatever, but I didn't have a problem when my son started driving or stepson and something happened to them. I was much worse. So that's why I'm so good I consider myself good at what I do because I've done everything.
Yeah.
I've been the driver. I've been the person screamed. I've been having a kid over here that's been, so I feel as though that all these people I've spotted, I've built cars. I feel that I've got the most, I don't know, knowledge or whatever it is, but I've been around, so I feel as though I deserve to make the calls I make.
What have you noticed through the years that separates the good drivers from the great ones?
The great ones, and a lot of people talk about naturals and whatever. The number one thing for me is accident avoidance. If a kid can put himself, or there's an accident and he can somehow not always seem to make the wrong decision, that is huge, huge. Even if it's not his fault or it is his fault, accident avoidance is huge. And the next thing of it is being able to adapt. You get into a car and it does certain things. Guys that make the difference. It's not like it used to be. Used to be you could go in there, get a car, they went and got the tires out of the junkyard, they raced. A driver was so now you have to have a good car, a good team. You have to be able to understand what the goal is. If a car is, say, for example, we call it pushing and it's moving up on the, you got to sit there and make sure you're not going to be in a bad spot to pass him. You don't want to be on the outside. You want to cut the corner and go underneath him. Same thing. If the guy's on the bottom, we call it mini cup groove. If he's there, don't try to go underneath him, because that guy is not going to go up. That's his groove. Go to the outside. And if he tries to move up and block you, then it's my job to sit there and say, 21, stay in it, pick your lane or whatever else. There's a lot to it, but I really love what I do. And once again, I think I'm pretty good at it. So.
All right, one final question. Define what a perfect 2026 race season will look like to you.
Nobody will get hurt. Have a lot of competition, and put an awesome races on for the fans. Which I don't care how many cars we've got here or not have here. As far as I'm concerned, Seekonk has always put on a great show. Number one thing is not to get anybody hurt. That's especially on I do Friday nights, and so that's more of kids. So I'm talking more of that. Adults are a little bit better at, their cars are a little bit safer and stuff. Mm-hmm. But when you get the small cars, you hold your breath every time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for meeting with me, Lenny.
No
Race
problem.
Fans, we hope to see you here at the track opening day 2026.
Bring a friend.
Viper Graphics provides local businesses with high-quality branding needs, which include vehicle wraps, screen printing, embroidery, and much more. At Viper Graphics, they believe that the customer's needs should always come first, and the best way to achieve this is through building a long-lasting relationship. Viper Graphics products are often the front lines of your business, so their mission is to help you make that long-lasting impression that cannot be forgotten. Visit them today at viperwraps.com. Viper Graphics, the official graphic shop of Seekonk Speedway.
Now what you've all been waiting for, division previews with track official Kyle Souza. Kyle's going to give us a deep dive with his over-the-phone interview and answer your questions and what you want to know most going into 2026. Kyle, with longtime standout Rick Martin stepping away, does this open the door for Jake Veneta, or do you think someone else will take over and contend for the championship, preventing him from going 2 for 2?
Well, Giuliana, I do think it opens the door for him to repeat, but when you look at the sport truck division, the talent is stacked, and he's going to have a lot of competition if he's going to be able to pull it off. A couple names come to mind. 6-time champion Mike Cavallaro back racing again this year. I'd look out for him. Mike Duart's a former champion of the sport trucks. I would certainly look out for him as he looks to go full-time again in 2026. You've got names like Dane Saratelli, almost won his first career race last year, made the championship 4, expecting him to be a major threat over the course of the season as well. Defending Rookie of the Year, Colton T's got to be in this mix, along with young gun Richie Helger Jr., moving up from Fast Friday to compete after winning a Legend Cars championship a couple of years ago. Danny Massa's jumping up from Fast Friday to race in the trucks this year. Scott Sestodio ran back in the sportsman division many years ago. He's been winning on Fast Friday in the last handful of years and crew chiefing for the Robidos over the last couple specifically. He's getting in that truck that Rick Martin is stepping out of, and I consider him a major threat as well in this division. I didn't even cover all the major threats, but there are so many drivers in this sport truck division. You've got a name like DJ Tebow, who really came into his own last year and had a successful year once again in the sport trucks. There's going to be a lot of challengers up against Jake, and this sport truck division is filled with different storylines as we move into 2026.
Next up, Kyle, with last year's champion moving up divisions, how do you think this is going to shape the playoffs for the sportsmen's divisions this year?
I love the smell of fresh air in the sportsman division, Giuliana. Adam Petty's been a great champion. He's won many races and championships lately. But it's time for the changing of the guard in the sportsman, and it opens up a new group of challengers like Scott Sirodinsky Jr. and Doug Benoit to jump forward as some of the favorites. Nick Wood, the Beaver in the 27, he comes to mind as a favorite going into this season. And when you look at the whole roster for the sportsman division in 2026, there's a lot of storylines. Adam Giacomosi returns again after running a lot of races, trying to up his program a little bit. Nick Brightman has really stepped up his game lately in the sportsman. He'll be a threat in 2026. You've got Nathan Rio, a rookie contender a couple of years ago, trying to get his feet wet more and more and get to the front of the pack. You've got Crystal Seredinsky in the number 8. You've got Josh Hedges, a former sport truck champion, competing again in this division this year. And you've got kind of the youth program moving up from Friday. Matt Talbot, the defending Pure Stock champion, he'll be one to watch in the number 37. Ken Aspen is going to be a rookie contender this year in the sportsman. I think he'll be one we'll be watching as the course of the season goes on. And look out for the Hannafin name. John Hannafin, a former sportsman champion, is registered. He's also got his son registered in the same car. That tells me they're going to be running some races this year as well. You've got names like Sam Lincoln, Randy Moretti, and Tyler Lallier's on the roster this year in the sportsman after some late model seasons, the last couple. We can't forget names like Jimmy Pepe Sylvia, the 116. When you want to talk about three wide exciting racing, you want to talk about the sportsman division. This thing's wide open when it comes to the championship, and I think we're all going to be excited to see it start going down on opening day and follow it as it goes through the whole season.
One of the hottest questions of the season. Charlie Rose did get the championship done last year, but it's never easy going 2 for 2. Rick Martin did it 2 years ago, but the question is, will Charlie Rose be able to go 2 for 2 in the late models against the rising young guns?
Well, Giuliani, when you look at the late model division going into 2026, I think this is probably the most unpredictable of our 4 NASCAR Saturday divisions over the course of the season. And I'll tell you why. Charlie won that championship last year, was very well deserved, many, many years of trying, but he's got a lot of competition. Chase Belcher had perhaps the most dominant year we've seen in a while in the late models last year. Didn't win the title, but I'm expecting him back with a vengeance in 2026. Andrew Gomes continues to gain more and more experience. He's going into another year looking to pounce. Richie Murray's a former sport truck champion with some late model wins. He's looking for success again this year. And then you've got names like Mark Jennison in the number 22. You've got names like Tyler Almeida getting his feet wet in the late models last year, trying to get some increased success in 2026. And then we've got our youth program in the late models here moving up from Friday. Ryan Vanasse Jr. going full-time in the 11. Brendan LaBelle moving up from the Legends in the number 4. He's going full-time this year. Mike Rotundo's planning on running some races. He had run the 48 Pro Stock a couple of years ago. And there's many, many more drivers like Brittany Campbell, like Jeff Bellier, that I wasn't able to mention in just a short period of time here. But the late model division is very unpredictable. And I can't even tell you who I think is going to win it in 2026. There's going to be a lot of different challengers there. And Charlie certainly got his work cut out for him if he plans on winning back-to-back.
Lastly, for the Pro Stocks, Dave Darling, will he be able to go for his 10th championship? He already has 9 and leads for the most championships in Seekonk Speedway track history. Will he be able to grab his 10th this season, or will someone else rise up and challenge him?
Well, Giuliana, it's going to be tough for somebody to beat Dave Darling as he looks for that 10th championship. I think he's going to be more driven than ever, and that seems a little hard to say. But when you look at his career and the amount of wins, as he's closing in on 100 wins going into this season, it is going to be very difficult for somebody to beat Dave Darling when it comes to the championship standings in 2026. But there's going to be a lot of competition right there with him over the course of the season. Dylan Estrella is a former Pro Stock champion. He'll be right there. Vinny Renegado, two-time late model champion, had a down year in his standards last year. I'd look out for Vinny to come back with a vengeance this year. Nicholas Scola, he ran part-time last year by the time he was done with it, but he was a rocket ship when he was out there in the number 39, so I'd look for him. You've got veterans. Mike Brightman back again this year looking for more wins and a shot at the title. Two-time champion Mark Jennison is back again this year. The Pro Stock division has some storylines in it that are very intriguing as we go into the season. And David's going to be tough to beat, Giuliana. If he can somehow win that 10th championship and continue to etch his name into the history of Seekonk Speedway, he's already very, very, very successful. But if he can get back to his dominant self, win some more races, get over 100 wins, and win a championship, man, it's going to be tough for anybody to go against somebody saying that he might be the best pro stock driver in the history of Seekonk Speedway.
Now, we want to hear from you viewers at home. Who are your championship picks in each division here at Seekonk Speedway? Lock them in the comments, and we'll revisit them at the end of the season and see who was most accurate and who got them all right. Kyle, we're definitely looking forward to hearing yours. At Seekonk Speedway, the roar of the engines is only part of the experience, but what makes that experience bigger is the voice that ties it in and brings it all together. A fan favorite and Wall of Fame inductee, Kevin Bucher has been the soundtrack to countless unforgettable nights at the action track of the East. From calling last lap battles to celebrating champions, he's had a front row seat to it all. I sat down with Kevin for a preseason chat to get his take on the drivers, the storylines, and what has him excited for the season ahead.
How's it going, race fans? Giuliana Vanasse here, joined by the race voice, Kevin Bucher, giving you insight going into 2026. Kevin, first off, how was your off season?
Long, wet, and cold.
And how does it feel to be back?
You know, it's people talk about opening day at Fenway, and you walk in and the green grass. Coming back here, it's no secret this is my happy place, my Graceland.
Absolutely.
And coming down here and refamiliarizing myself with the track itself, seeing the upgrades that the track has done over the winter, getting, saying hello to the people in the pit area, the fans when they come in. It really puts a spring in your step.
Let's talk about your preseason superstitions. Everyone at the track knows you start and end the race season the same way, taking a walk on the track. Give the fans a little insight to that process.
If you go back to Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage, when he goes to Eleanor and he's talking to the car and he's getting familiar with the car and reintroducing himself, and that's basically what I do. I go out, I take a walk on the track, take a look at anything that may have changed, and it's asphalt, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
But the track has a personality like anybody else. And it's just reacquainting myself with the track. And at the end of the year, it's, thanking her for being, for taking care of the guys and the girls on the track, and helping the fans the drivers put on a good show and entertaining the fans. And it's just, it's a relationship that I've been able to get with her.
Speaking of fan entertainment, you're a huge part of the fan connection here at Seekonk Speedway. What does that mean to you?
I'll have people come up to me, "Oh, I've been listening to you all my life." And you're like, "Oh crap, I've been here a long time." But we've got some absolutely fantastic fans here, and they are a big part of the show. And you see the same faces week after week, year after year. And it is like family. It's like a reunion. It's like everybody getting together at the holidays, sitting around dinner, talking about what they did over the summer. Well, we do the same thing, except what'd you do over the winter?
Yep.
And having that interaction with the fans is fantastic. And it really helps elevate me, because that's why I do it. That's why I do the announcing, and I've been doing it for so long. It's because of the fans that we've got. It's because of the drivers and the teams that we've got, and the friends that we've made over the years. And if I can continue doing that, and they let me keep doing that, then I'll be here.
Walk me through a typical race day in your life. Is there any specific process you go through? What does your day look like?
Well, the alarm goes off and I hit snooze 42 times.
Don't we all?
No, it's, I come to the track as early as I can. I get set up in the tower, make sure everything is working. And it's walking around the pit area, getting to know, finding the stories for the drivers. A lot of the stuff I do is, I don't want to say unprepared, but it's the seat of my pants. It's whatever happens, and that's what I do. Some announcers, and you'll hear this with Brady this year as he comes on board, he'll have his notes and he'll talk about the stories from his notes. I always go by the personal interactions.
Do you feel that's more important and that's what makes you so unique?
I don't know about unique, just makes me who I am. It's not everybody does it that way. It just works for me. And knowing the history of the track, of a lot of the drivers and the fans, helps with that. And I can pull from that in certain situations. And it helps take care of, if you have an extended caution or a delay in between races, you can talk about things like that versus looking at notes and you have this much to talk about. Yeah. Whereas the personal end of it, you can extend on that.
What moment do you think is going to stick out? Any specific storylines that the fans need to know going into opening day this year?
There's always a few storylines. One of the biggest is when the fans walk into the track for the first time, they're going to see things that haven't been here before.
Yeah.
We've got the new retaining wall over here where the beer garden is going to be. We've got a new tech shack over here. We've got the new souvenir booth. Little things like that are big things. And then you've got the new tower. It's redone on the outside, looks fantastic. I can't wait for it to be finished so I can go up there and get laid out.
Some nice AC.
Yeah, 30 years. Thank you, David. We'll have AC and heat up there for the first time. And that tower has come a long way. I can remember when it wasn't even enclosed. So to be able to have that is fantastic. One thing that David has done over the years is made sure that there are key pieces that are not left behind because they are part of the whole experience. Exactly. The scorers, the announcer, this year with the New England Short Track Network coming on board and the streaming that we're going to have, need a place for that. So that's going to be inside there. So it's going to be a lot going on, whereas it's not going to be in front of the fans, but it's for the fans.
Yes. Now, finally, what is the thing you're most excited about going into 2026?
There's so much. It's the personal interactions. It's the fan experience. It's getting to do what I enjoy. It's the people involved. And that's probably the most exciting part. The racing is the racing. We've got great racing here, but it's the personalities behind the teams, the personalities in the grandstands, the personalities in the pit area from the officials. That whole part of it is really the most exciting part of it for me. Whatever happens on the track happens on the track. I can't control that. All I can do is talk about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. Hope to see you here soon, race fans.
Thanks for sticking with us, race fans. We're still in the process of getting this down pat. Next week, make sure you stay tuned. It's going to be a lot more structured, a lot more segments. There's going to be phone interviews, driver polls, stories, so much to watch. Make sure you're tuned in, week out. If you can't come to the track this weekend, make sure you watch on NESTN.TV, or if you can't find the link, head over to SeekonkSpeedway.com, and on our homepage there will be a link to be able to pay and watch for the race. We hope to see you this weekend. I'm your host, Giuliana Vanasse.